Shalom, it's No Limit Eddie back with another video. So check this out. This is going to be a commentary video. This right here is for my brothers and my sisters who are on the continent of Africa, who may not necessarily understand the struggle that we as Black Americans go through in or in America. You know, they don't understand the ways of the pale beast and the fact that it's not sweet over in America. Just because we can own a Mercedes-Benz, it doesn't mean anything, because there is no peace. We are being hunted down and killed every single day in America, and we fear for our lives. So this video right here is going to show you guys the ways of the pale beast, how the pale beast hunts down the black man in America for fun.
Howdy. You mind putting down the back window, please, for me? All right, awesome. I'm Deputy Blaze with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Before I ask you for any information, the reason I'm pulling you over is because your windows up here way too dark for a statue. Okay, so
all right, cool. So let's go ahead and get into this first piece of commentary, right? Now, the way that I view things is more from a libertarian perspective. And one of the core ideologies in that perspective, or in that philosophy, is no victim, no crime. The officer said he's pulling this man over because he has no tint. Because he has a dark tint on his windows. So by him having a dark tint on his windows, he's not killing anybody. He's not infringing on anybody's rights. He's not restricting anybody's freedom, and he's not doing harm to anyone, right? He just has dark windows, which means that people cannot see inside, which is more likely for his safety. If he has valuable items left in his car, he doesn't want somebody to be able to see him and break into his car and take those items. So, and again, this is also in Florida, where it's a rather hot state, so he doesn't want the sun to be penetrating inside of his car, destroying his leather seats, and also to be beaming on him while he's driving. So him having dark tints, again, is a victimless action, and thus it's not a crime based off of a libertarian standpoint. So again, this is why the cop says he pulls him over. But again, I'm going to explain to you, the pale beast is a known liar. The pale beast is the white man, for those of you guys who are not clear on that. Now, you can clearly see that he says, I'm pulling you over because there's tint. But later on throughout this video, he's going to reveal that I actually know who's driving this car. I'm using the excuse of a tint as a proxy law. A proxy law in this case, when I say that, I mean there's a lot of laws on the books that exist solely to give cops a reason, a justifiable reason to pull people over. These are people they want to pull over regardless, but they need a reason, a justifiable reason to pull them over. And in this case, he used a tint law as a proxy law. But he's not pulling them over for tint. He's pulling them over to collect for the state. And the state loves to collect money. They can collect money one of two ways: by issuing tickets, number one, or by collecting prisoners.
If you could do me a favor, just roll this window about halfway up. That's good. Right there. So in the state of Florida, the front window can be 25%, back window can be 15%, okay? The lower the number, the darker the tint. Your front window is measuring at 3%, okay? So back window, no. So as you can see, 3. What that means is only 3% of the outside ambient light is getting through your window. Okay, that's why they do that way. Do you have your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance? Will you put this back down for me? What's that? How's it going this morning, bro? Living the dream. I see that. Living the dream. I see you on the trail.
Now he put him over for tint, and now he's asking for driver's license, registration, and insurance. The state likes to collect. So he's asking for the driver's license because he wants to see if he has any warrants out for his arrest. If he does have warrants, then cool. The state has collected a prisoner. They're asking for registration because if he doesn't have registration, they're going to assume that the car is stolen. Then you're going to be getting arrested for GTA, Grand Theft Auto. You're going to be getting arrested. The state has collected a prisoner. he's asking for insurance. If the insurance is not valid or there is no insurance on the car, that's good. The state is going to then the officer is going to ask him to get out of his car, and they're going to tow the car, and the state will collect the revenue from the ticket for not having insurance, as well as some of the money from the towing agency. So again, it started off as a tent law, as a getting pulled over supposedly because there was a dark tent on the car, and now he's looking for different ways that the state can potentially collect either prisoners or money. And we're going and for those of you guys who think that police pullovers are random, no, they're very targeted and very specific. And in this video, you're going to see that that is the truth.
2513. That's 38. Rocky Money Rudolph Jr. That name is awesome. That's probably, in 14 years, that is probably the best name I've seen.
So again, this is for my brothers and sisters who are here on the continent who don't know how the Pale Beast moves and how the Pale Beast operates. Right now, he's laughing and he's joking with him, right? The police officer is laughing and joking with Rocky. Now, you're going to see Rocky's laughing too, but this is not a laugh of joy and positive expression. This is a laugh of pure concern. And you're going to see how Rocky is going to be looking in the next coming moments. And this is because the Pale Beast is very tricky. They'll laugh and smile in your face, but be planning on how they're going to kill you at the same exact time. And this to prove he's laughing with him, but look at how his hands are moving and manipulating the card. This is the application for a certificate of title. This is the registration right here. Okay. It's saying it's I guess your birthday's probably on the 5th. Is it? Yeah. So ultimately it's technically expired, but we don't cite for that. There's case law that says it goes to the end of the month. So you need to get that changed. Yeah, well, right? Again, he knows what he can get people tickets for. So he pulled the registration out. The registration is currently still valid. He cannot legally cite him for the registration. So he says, okay, I failed on that attempt. Well, maybe his insurance will not be valid. Maybe we can tow his car today.
I'm doing this new project down here on the homeless community thing they do. Okay. I'm building that down.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, make sure you get that updated. And do you have the insurance card?
What I did on the phone, they faxed everything over, and they sent it to my baby mama address, and I ain't getting dinner with her. I got to go ahead and get it.
Do you have an app or anything? You should be able to get it on an app if you've got sign into the app. I just gotta check and make sure it's good.
That's good.
Why are you nervous?
She was calm.
Huh?
All right, there we go. So now as things are getting a little bit heated, you can see that Rocky is starting to sense that this cop is looking for anything to get him on, and he's getting slightly nervous about it. And he has every right to be. This cop is checking each and every document and looking for a reason to cite him, looking for a reason to arrest him. And he's failing right now. The cop is failing, and you don't want to make an egotistical cop mad. And so Rocky's getting quite nervous, and he says, I'm a little bit nervous. The cop asks him, why are you nervous? Rocky says, because you're a cop. I know, and what that means is, I know people like you kill people like me. I know people like you take away the freedoms of people like me. I'm nervous. you are sitting here by my car for the last 3 minutes. I would actually like to be on my way home and be at peace. Maybe go eat me some pizza or something like that. But instead, I'm here dealing with you, and you are looking for a reason to take away my life, take away my freedom, or take money out of my pocket.
What's that?
Just a wake up, man.
Okay. There's no need to be nervous, man.
Yeah, man. 'Cause I was wondering, you know, like, I did. I thought it was a light or something. Looking like, no, it wasn't a light.
10.
Yeah.
It's pet peeve of mine. I was just trying to see where you were going because it's.
Here we go. Now it's getting dicey. So the cop is saying there's no reason to be nervous, but clearly we're going to, as we progress throughout this video, we're going to see there's a tremendous reason to be nervous, and Rocky was very right from the beginning to be nervous, and that's because, you know, the pale beast is hunting right now, and Rocky sees that he's hunting, and the pale beast is looking for a way to extract or to cause some type of pain and some type of suffering to this black man. Now, the cop says, I put you over because 10 is a pet peeve of mine. Then he also immediately said, I pulled you over. I want to know where you're going. Pulling me over for 10 and pulling me over for knowing where I'm going are two separate things. Now, I'm curious as to what area this is in. I'm not sure if it's a very good area of Florida or a very bad area of Florida. But either way, there's something about being in this area. I'm going to assume it may not be the best area because Rocky said he was building a homeless, helping to build a homeless shelter in an area. So what I'm assuming is, and I believe Rocky said that strategically to say, this is the reason why I'm in this area. Don't confuse me for no drug dealer. Don't confuse me for no gang member. Don't confuse me for no nothing else. I'm here to work. I believe that was the reason why Rocky even said that to begin with. And again, the cop said, I put you over because of the tent, but then he said, I put you over to know where you're going. So let me go ahead and rewind this back for you just a quick second.
I was trying to see where you were going. It's pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, man. 'Cause I was wondering, you know, like, I did. I thought it was a light or something. Looking like, no, it wasn't a light.
10.
Yeah.
It's pet peeve of mine. I was just trying to see where you were going because it's seriously unsafe to be pulling cars over there. So
that's what I was wondering. Like,
I try and follow somebody until we get in a safe area.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. So just like I said, he said it was tent, but then he immediately said, I want to figure out where you're going. Then he said, I like to follow people until I can get them into a safe area.
For me, you know, and then I attempt to stop it.
And right now, Rocky is looking for his insurance. And the reason why the cops said attempt to stop Florida is a no chase state.
Yeah, we don't need Facebook.
Hold on one second.
Unless you want to Facebook Live or something like that.
So the pale beast is attempting to make another joke. This joke is even worse than the first one. You can see how nervous Rocky is, and you can see that the officer is a little bit tensing up. But again, the pale beast is so cunning. He's so cunning. He's still joking with this man, but he has every intent in his heart and in his mind to cause harm to him. He has no intent to bring joy or to bring positivity to this man. He plans to do harm to him.
It's also going to be about time for you to get a new license.
Yeah, no, y'all this stuff screen. I've been so busy, man.
Right? No,
I take a day off.
And look what he's doing with the license again. In my opinion, it looks like he's trying to rip the license in half, or he's kind of bending it. And also, just look at the way he keeps putting his thumb over the picture of Rocky. Now, again, this may be me just overanalyzing it, but look at how he's holding the license, and look at how the destructive mannerism that he's applying to the license.
Y'all working?
Attempted ripping it. Attempt to rip it.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, today being your day off, everything else is closed too.
Put his hand over the picture again.
sorry. Awesome.
So he checks the insurance over from Rocky. He sees that it's valid and he says, awesome. Now, this you can hear that the way he says awesome, he's not very enthused. Why? Because, I mean, Rocky didn't pass all the tests. He has a valid license, valid insurance, valid registration. He couldn't get Rocky for anything. And a tent violation in most states is a correctable violation. If you go peel a tent off and you go up to the building, the city building, and you prove to them that the tent is gone, a lot of times you don't have to pay any money, especially if it's your first violation. So he is, of course, the officer is, of course, unhappy with this. He didn't collect for the state. And again, I'm going to show you that he knew who he was pulling over to begin with. And I'm going to show you that how these laws exist simply to act as a justification for pulling over anybody who you initially want to pull over to begin with.
All right. Mr. Rudolph, is there any reason why there would be a hint of weed coming out of your vehicle? Do you smoke? Do you have any friends that smoke? Anything like that? No, I know the difference between black and mild smoke and this and that. Do you have any marijuana in the car? Okay. So there's no marijuana in the car at all? Okay. And do you have a Florida health card?
Now, here's we're getting into the meat of the whole pullover. When you pull up into a car, if the car smells like anything, you're going to smell it from the very beginning. It's like if you walk into a restaurant. If there's food cooking, you're going to smell that food from the minute you walk in. So if he did smell weed, he smelled weed from the very beginning. And he already knew that at the end of the day, he was going to begin to question him and press him about the weed smell. But again, I don't believe he truly smelled weed in the car. I believe he's fishing. He's looking for a reason to cause harm to Rocky. Either financial harm, physical harm, or the loss of freedom, which is another harm. So he had no good intent for Rocky. Rocky passed all the other tests, so he needs to find something else. And now he's going to say, well, I smell weed. I smell cannabis in the car. And again, a white man, of course, believes that every black man smokes weed, or that every black man has friends who smoke weed. And so you can see by the way he's questioning them: is there weed in the car? Why do I smell weed? Did you smoke weed? Do some of your friends smoke weed? And he's not accepting no for an answer, because he in his mind truly knows that every black man smokes weed. Is that the truth? No, but that's what he in his mind knows. Now, again, he was joking with him. He was laughing with him this whole time. But if he smelled weed from the very, if there was weed smell in the car, that means he smelled weed from the very beginning. But this whole time he's been joking with him. Ha, yeah, this is the dopest name I've ever seen. Ha, yeah, you should Facebook Live us. Ha, yeah. So he's making all these nonsensical jokes. But this is the pale beast. They'll smile in your face, but be planning how they're going to kill you at the very same time. So if there was a weed smell in the car, it would have been present from the very beginning of the stop. And he knew eventually that he was going to attempt to arrest this man for that smell that he supposedly smelled. He knew that from the very beginning of the stop.
It allows you to smoke medical marijuana? What's that?
You left the wall
Okay. Yeah, I did too. What I had is go to the bathroom, something fierce.
Oh, that was you I seen back then. I just rolled through there.
You see me go in there, go back, come back
Oh,
out.
yeah, I just rolled through and dropped the chick off at work in there. Yeah.
All right, cool. So now this is why I paused it here. I want to go ahead and reiterate the fact that he said, you see me go in and come right back out. Now, if he seen him go in and come out, then that means that the officer also saw Rocky go in and out of the store, which again proves that from the very beginning, I like to follow people until I find that it's safe, and then I attempt to pull them over, right? Then he also said, oh, well, I came in here, I stopped you for tent, but then he also said, I stopped you because I wanted to know where you were going. So again, this is what it comes down to. I'm assuming that Somali, Florida is not a good area. I'm assuming there might be a lot of drug activity within that area. I'm assuming that the officer pulled Rocky over and under the assumption, under the impression that Rocky was a drug dealer, that he was going to stop Rocky, say that it was for tent, but in the same time he was going to attempt to search the car or hope to find marijuana within the car so that he can arrest Rocky, and then boom, he has another Negro in jail, which, you know, in some cases I've heard of people getting raises for the amount of people they incarcerate. And you know, it also just brings them satisfaction because they hate black people with a passion. You know what I mean? Hate black people with a passion in America, especially police officers. And a white police officer, black police officer, they all hate black people the same. It doesn't matter. And so this is what I truly believe was the purpose of the stop to begin with. He wanted to arrest Rocky for weed and for cannabis. Now again, he knew who Rocky was. He wanted a reason to stop Rocky, and the reason he came up with was the tent. But in reality, that's just a proxy. That law was simply used to justify the initial pullover, because he couldn't say, "Hey, you're a Negro. I wanted to know if you have weed in your car." He couldn't start off like that, and so he started off with, "Oh, it's a tent."
Okay, I should have caught that. I don't know.
All right. Can you do me a favor and just shut the car off for me?
What happens?
Well, I smell marijuana.
What happened, sir? You see how Rocky looked very, very, very concerned because the whole dynamic of the conversation has changed. Rocky saying you was just laughing with me, you was just cooling with me, you was just, you know, yeah, I feel you, and now all of a sudden you telling me to turn my car off. Like, what are you about to do? Basically what Rocky's saying is, what are you about to do to me? Why do you want me to put myself in a position where I could not flee if I needed, or if I felt the need to flee? I've been here calm with you the whole time. I ain't trying to pull off. Why are you telling me now to turn my car off? That means you're about to do something that any person, any logical person, will attempt to get away from. So let's go ahead and rewind that real quick.
Well, I smell marijuana.
What happens?
Well, I smell marijuana, and you don't have a card, so I'm not. Listen. I'm not concerned with some personal use stuff, man. It doesn't even warrant my time.
I'm not concerned with no personal use stuff. It doesn't even warrant my time. So again, he's just accused him of being a drug dealer. I smell weed in the car. If it's true that he doesn't care about personal use, that means if he had a little QP, not a QP, a little bit of a eighth or something like that, which would be an eighth, which would be a personal use amount of marijuana, he's not worried about that. He said it's not even worth his time. Which means he accusing Rocky of having enough marijuana in his car to be a drug dealer. He's saying you're not having a personal use amount. You have enough to sell. You are here with the intent to distribute, right? You possess with the intent to distribute. This is how they arrest a lot of black people. And then on top of that, he's saying it's not even worth his time. Why? Like I said, there is financial incentives to arresting people.
Would you mind shutting the car off, please?
I'm smoking a black light.
I understand. Just shut the car off for me, please. Okay?
So you see Rocky turn the key off and take the key out of the car.
2513. Step him up, please. It's no big deal. I mean, I'm not.
Like tell me from a listen to marijuana, bro.
Listen.
It's no big deal. He been saying this the whole time. You don't have you have no reason to be nervous, buddy. Yeah, it's no big deal. I'm just stopping you for 10. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Something small. It's a pet peeve of mine. But look how quickly this situation escalates. Never trust a pale beast. If a pale beast is smiling, this is for my brothers and sisters on the continent who haven't had very many dealings with Caucasians, and who have been lied to and manipulated by Caucasians, believing. Well, that's for a whole topic for another day. But again, this is for the people who are on the continent who don't understand what the black Americans in America are having to deal with and face on a daily basis. The pale beast is a liar. The pale beast seeks souls of black people on a daily basis.
Listen, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Stop. 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 Put it in park. Put it in park. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your freaking hands up. Somebody just trying to take off with me. Step them up now. Sir, I'm telling you. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. I swear to God. Put your hands up. You put it in park. Sir.
Now, this, of course, is very strange, very sad. Rocky did survive. Rocky is alive. They're now trying to arrest Rocky for attempted murder of the police officer, which again is complete bogus. Now, as you can see, the officer decided to reach in a car and grab Rocky's seatbelt for no reason. Rocky didn't reach out to the officer. He didn't do anything crazy. Rocky was getting nervous. He knew something was about to go up. So the police officer just decided to reach in the car and grab his seatbelt, which to me was very gay. I don't understand what the whole thing was about. And then from there, Rocky knows, okay, this situation has completely turned. I need to get the heck out of this situation. I need to just find a way to buy myself some time so that I can push on the gas and get the heck out of here. And again, any smart person would try to flee that situation, because we know that no matter what Rocky did, if he followed every order properly, the officer still would have killed him. No matter if he followed every order or if he didn't follow every order. So he decided to take the smart way and say, I'm gonna at least try to fight my way out of this situation and try to make it home. You know what I mean? I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's a choice that every black person in America has to make. Are you willing to are you just going to accept it and die, or are you going to fight it out and have your day in court? Every black person in America has had to make that choice before leaving out the house every single day that they leave out the house. Now, that was a situation. This man was living his life. The officer saw him go inside of a Walmart, come out. He said, this is a black man. I think he's a drug dealer. Let me try to arrest him for this. Let me try to put him in jail. Let me try to take away his freedom. When Rocky decided that Rocky knew for a fact that he didn't have any drugs in the car, he didn't have any reason to be stopped. He knew that this was absolute nonsense. He wanted to protect himself. He wanted to preserve his own life. The officer got mad about it, that he wouldn't submit to his authority, and he shot this man, I believe, 7 times. Now, Rocky ended up only getting hit, and this is by the grace of the Most High, only getting hit in the leg, and ended up surviving this whole ordeal. The officer also survived this whole ordeal, which is unfortunate. But you have to really take a look at the situation and ask yourself, is this a situation that you would want to be, that you would want to be in, that you would feel comfortable being in, that you would feel comfortable raising your family in? So these are some of the things that black Americans are having to deal with on a daily basis just by living his life. Just by him going into Walmart and a cop seeing him, the cop decided that he was going to take this man, or attempt to take this man's life today. So that's going to conclude today's video, man. I want this to just be on the minds of the people here in Tanzania, the people here on the continent, who think that, African Americans, they can buy Mercedes-Benz, they're living it good. I want you to understand that that's not the case, that we face persecution on a daily basis. We're going through a genocide, and people all around the world just think that we are this most privileged and blessed group of people, even though they're killing us left and right. They're aborting our children left and right. They are putting us in areas where we can't even get food, proper food. So we're eating nothing but toxins every day of our life. And this is used to allow us to not be able to reproduce effectively anymore. And these are the sort of things that we deal with. And when we come to other places, they tell us, well, just go back to America, because they think America's such a sweet place. But these are the things that we deal with. All right, so see you guys in the next one. Y'all willing? Peace.